We're now ready to begin our regularly scheduled board meeting for the Port Arthur for Economic Development Corporation. May I have a roll call, please? Here.
Here.
Thank you. Bound for the invocation. God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this time. Thank you for the opportunity for us to share and to help in the betterment of our city and this community. We ask that you give us insight, help us to make decisions that will be beneficial to the citizens of Port Arthur. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We all have a copy of our minutes from our last board meeting. May I have a motion, please? It's been moved in second that we approve the minutes from our October 4th regular board meeting. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Communications?
Okay, good evening, board. As far as communications, we always like for the board to go out to the basic class and the sales tax class, so we did print out all of the classes for this year coming up to 22. I know, was it 2 of them? 2. Yeah, right. 2 are going in December to sales tax, but IEDC basic courses are listed here. And if anybody wants to go, just contact Joni, of course. Wherever you want to go, we'll take care of it. Just let us know.
Just to echo the same thing, it's a wonderful class. One of the best trainings I've gone to, and it really has helped me working with the EDC to go to that class. Now it is a little lengthy. It takes, I think it's about 3 or 4 days, but it's awesome. The information and the people that you meet, second to none. So I would encourage each and everyone that hasn't gone to try to find a day or place to make that happen. That's all you had?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got one question.
Right here.
How do you know which one to choose? I mean, so many different ones. I don't want to go just to go to Colorado because I ain't never been to Colorado.
Well,
I want to go somewhere where I know I'm a benefit. You know, of course, I guess you're looking for an area that have growth, they have done well in EDC, or how you go about choosing which one to go to?
it's kind of like what Mr. Anderson stated. You can't really go wrong. I'm going to tell you from my experience, I went in Atlanta, and I had the greatest time because Atlanta is growing, you know, and so I thought that everything was beneficial. One thing that I'm still waiting on, they're supposed to do Airport City, and it's kind of like they're going to put a city right near the airport, so if you have a layover or whatever in Atlanta, you can go out to the movies, you can go to a restaurant. So, you know, that's the development going on in Atlanta, just, you know, from what we learned or whatever, but you can't go wrong. Honestly, pick your spot, you can't go wrong.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Davis. We have our reports, our workforce development report. Renata?
Good evening. I'm going to start off with our CDL program this evening. Currently, a total of 16 have completed. That was updated on October 26th of 21. Currently, a total of 19 are enrolled, and 1 payment has been completed, awaiting completion. I reached out to the 7, I think last meeting, I think it was 7 that had actually completed, and I reached out to them, and I am here to tell you that out of the 7, 5 had secured job. In total, I will say, I have that number this today too. Hold on, let me get that number. To date, we've had 16 to complete the program, and out of the 16, 8 have found a job. So 50% are currently employed. Also, as I called, the three that had not found a job, or two that had not found a job, I actually pitched TriMac. TriMac was handed to me from Joan, and if you guys don't know, TriMac is an actual company, and they're actually employing CDL drivers, paying them $2,000 per week as a guaranteed minimum pay. So I actually gave them the number as well as the website for them to go on if they were seeking employment. Acadian Ambulance, I will say the program ended. 2 individuals actually graduated and are now employed by Acadian Ambulance. George and I, we have been in conversation, and it has been pitched to me that they plan on coming back in 2022 with some modifications to the program. So that's something that we can look forward to in 2022. Digital Workforce Academy, at the time when this report was completed, the documentation had been turned in, but since then it has been modified. Instead of 10, 5 will be going through our program as far as us paying for it, the EDC paying for it. And so I have been in communications with Mr. White, and so far that program is successfully ongoing. Our Police Academy program, I spoke with Deputy Chief Jeremy Houston on October 24th in regards to the program that we currently have in place, and I'm here to tell you that the program did start last year, mid-2020, and 4 students actually enrolled. All were Port Arthur residents. All but 1 were actually employed with the Port Arthur Police Department. The one that didn't get employed with the Port Arthur Police Department actually got employed with the Lamar University Police Department. So all of them have completed the program. They're all employed. And also I had 2 young ladies that actually came in here today, and they're interested. One has already passed her civil exam, and the other is awaiting. So people are actually interested in our program. And I actually have some other stuff to talk about tonight, but this completes my report so far. So do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Question, what are we doing to recruit students into the program? Do we go by social media, the schools, or how do we get the word out that we have these different programs available for the students to participate in?
Well, you're talking about for all the programs.
For all the
So
programs.
pretty much, yeah, social media, and then of course Lamar, because we are partners with Lamar, they actually have their programs listed on their website. So if they're interested or if people know about it, you know, they'll actually go directly to them. So they actually do a lot of social media output as well. And like I say, it's on their website. And we push it out through our social media outlets. So that's pretty much how we let it be known.
We never send any type of, to the high school, like Memorial, some type of,
Well, with COVID, I've never had the opportunity to go inside of Memorial High School to actually pitch certain things. I think Daryl has actually pitched a few things, but as far as me personally, I haven't had the opportunity to go actually in there to pitch it. That will be a goal for 2022. Mm-hmm.
As far as Memorial students, the Acadian Ambulance program, it was actually on Memorial's campus. Mm-hmm. So that was a huge benefit. Mr. Anderson helped us, you know, with the logistics on that. I also want to discuss the modifications that she was speaking on with the Acadian Ambulance deal. That was the first time that we've done that program, and they went virtual every day except for Monday. And we kind of, well, they figured if 2 people completed it that they needed to make some changes, because I think what it is the gap in the last time somebody was in school versus today. You know, you can't just sit them in front of a computer. You have to be well disciplined and, you know, focused and locked in to do something like that. So the conversation is they are trying to get an instructor to come in there, almost like a job, sitting there, you know, 8 hours a day and hit these, you know, individuals. And the other thing I was gonna mention was the Police Academy deal. I spoke with Chief Dorso this morning, and he did inform me of 2 people, so I'm sure that
They
was the
did
2.
come in.
Right.
They came in today.
Right. That's what. So we're in constant communication. Like she mentioned, she speaks to Houston, and again, Dorso, he catch me at every council meeting and say, hey, we sending some people. I just tell them send them.
And trust me, we have people coming in, every week, calling every day for our CDL program. I will tell you right now, this is the last class. They don't hold the class in December, so everything is going to start over again in January.
Another question, with the CDL being on the rise, how many students can we hold in the classroom? 30, 20?
Actually, Amanda, she handles that at Lamar State College for Arthur, so she normally tells me once they hit a number, we can't accept anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have a certain amount that we actually pay for. You know what that number is? Because that's
Well,
probably what's more.
So basically, $70,000 was actually allotted, and so 35 upon enrollment and 35 upon completion. So that's where we are right now. So once those funds are depleted, then we can't have anyone else come into the program.
So y'all budget that?
Yes, sir.
And this company, this Trimac, are they local?
I'm not sure. It was something Joni had kind of filled me in. Are they local? Yeah, it was something, yeah.
That's good. Not pretty good, it's good. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Renata. Program compliance report.
On your compliance report this evening, project that was on Jimmy Johnson, where next to the Tio Juanitas development, there's the newest one next to it. That is that project. So they're complete with that. We are asking you all recommended to close that out. Port Arthur Recycling, that would be on your agenda. We'll discuss a little bit more about that one a little bit later on, but we are asking to extend their agreement. Clifford Distilling is also on your agenda for consideration to amend their contract to make some minor corrections that we found. This was just approved by council and you all at the last 2 meetings. So they're not very far into their contract, but while we were reviewing it, we saw some corrections that needed to be made to the contract. So that's on your agenda for this evening. Destex Contract 2, if you'll recall, they have 2 incentive agreements with us. Contract 2 is on hold for release of their incentive payment. We're still waiting on their letter of credit to serve as collateral for their incentive. Once we receive that letter of credit, then we can release their incentive payment to them. Romero's Glass Company, we just wanted to give you all an update that we determined it did not qualify for a 4A economic incentive based on their industry classification after we did a little bit more researching. So we did not move forward with this full application. The Business Park Security Services, this is the Spur 93 Business Park. We did come to term with our last servicer, so we went out for bid on that. It was advertised. We held a pre-bid meeting, and we had 4 participants participate in that meeting. 3 bids were received for this contract, but we decided we're going to reject those bids. They came in significantly higher than what we've been paying in the past. So we've asked purchasing to go ahead and go out for bid again, and hopefully those numbers will come down. In the meantime, we are on a month-to-month basis with our current servicer, so we're just not in contract anymore, we're just going month-to-month. So there is security out there now. The Highway 73 Business Park mowing, this is the business park that we don't yet have any development on. There is the infrastructure out there, but right now we've been having our maintenance person cut that grass for us, and on occasion we do ask for one-time cuts from our servicer that cuts the bigger park. So right now, we're going out for bid for the mowing of that one, go ahead and enter into a contract. So those bids did come in. We are waiting for purchasing to prepare those proposals for us to review. So hopefully you'll have that at the next board meeting to approve services for Highway 77. And then resolutions that went to council based on your approval at the last meeting. The bylaws revision, we did send that over. It is on hold for the city attorney's review. We have been told of any issues with our recommendations, but she likes to have a little bit of time to review those revisions before she puts it on the council. So hopefully we'll see that at the next council meeting. The Sunbelt invoice for the portable chillers, when we didn't have a fee here, it was approved for payment. The purchase of the baby equipment that you all requested at the last meeting, the request for the purchase has been made, and at this time I have put that it would be made soon to order, but I believe Joni and Rachel have already placed that order, so that should be coming soon. And 501 Proctor tenant lease agreements between ourselves and Frank, our attorney. We have revised the standard lease agreement to include provision for common area maintenance costs. This is something that we've had before. At some point, I think in different provisions, it might have gotten taken out. So we found that there were a couple that it wasn't included in. So we put that back in, as well as the termination clause, because we did not have that in there either. So that's on your agenda as well for one of the tenants that are coming up for renewal. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Crystal. Any questions? Thank you so much. We have our financial report.
Good evening, Board. Hey, tonight I will be giving you the total expenditures and where we are in our budget for October fiscal year 2022. We are still working on closing out the end of the year in September, so that those numbers are not still ready for you or the report. So the city and myself will still running expenditures through those accounts, so they're not quite ready yet. So. And we'll just go straight to October, because October is ready and the numbers are good. So I don't want to give you numbers and they're not right. So we'll just wait till we complete that process. Okay. If you look at the front sheet here, we have our estimated revenue that we expect to collect here in fiscal year 2022. We have estimated $5,500,000 in sales tax revenue, $20,000 in interest revenue, $66,975 in rental income, $70,800 in business park income. Our land sales is estimated to be $310,500, and we have something on here that you guys are not used to seeing, and it's a transfer from the general fund, and that is going to be the lease income that will be coming from the press building from the city of Port Arthur. And they have that estimated, I think, at this time. I think there's still some question. This is still questioning on that. Okay, but right now, we just put the amount that they actually listed on their budget, which is $72,000. Our total revenue for fiscal year 2022 is $6,040,275. At this time, we have actually collected $586,701, which is $582,671 from sales tax for October, and $3,991 in rental income, and $39 in miscellaneous. We have an unrealized revenue for fiscal year 2022 of $5,453,574. Our current expenditures in personnel service is $24,300. In supplies, $714. In maintenance, $185,000. Contractual services, $8,937, and I'm sorry, I'm going to back up and correct myself on maintenance, $185. And capital outlay is 0 at this time. Our total expenditures for October is $34,136. That leaves us an excess of revenue of $6,006,139. Now, the other side here, the other sources and uses of fund, you're going to see a couple more things that you're not, that wasn't on your previous budgets. One of them is going to be the administrative cost to the City of Port Arthur, and the other is the Parks and Rec, the $1 million to the Park and Rec Department. So we have a total debt service for fiscal year 2022 of $877,098, a transfer to Fund 612 of $8,600, administrative costs to the City of Port Arthur for $175,000, Parks and Rec, $1 million. Total of other sources and uses of funds is $2,060,698. That gives us a net change in fund balance of $3,945,441. At this time, the estimated fund balance for the beginning of the year is the same as the previous year because we don't have that number yet. So just left that there just to give you guys just a roundabout ballpark of where we can be. So effective October 31st, 2021, the fund balance at the end of the year is estimated at $8,447,135. If you turn to the back where we have our list of expenditures and a breakdown of where those expenses come from, expenditures for October, I want to call a couple of things to your attention that that you guys might need to know, that the board might need to know. I'm sorry, I apologize. If you look under the development account, it's on the second page of that expenditure list. Let everybody get there. It's under contractual services. Okay. So we budgeted $2,300,000 for fiscal year 2022, but we have a carryover balance of $959,250,000, which leaves us an actual $1,340,750 for incentives and grants for this fiscal year. So we still have that obligation out there, so you see it in the encumbrance. So the board might want to keep that in mind when they're awarding for this fiscal year. Also in job training, we also have a encumbrance that we're carrying over there, also from the previous year. And in the job training programs, we're carrying over digital workforce, the CDL program for fiscal years 20 and 21, the new students for the CDL program, the scaffolding program, tuition reimbursement for the tuition for fiscal year 2019, 2020, and 2021. I think there's just one person that needs to graduate for fiscal year 2019, and that program ends fall of 2021. So this young lady, we should be getting billed for her here soon. And the 2020 doesn't end until spring of 2022. Now, the fiscal year 2021 total that we're carrying over does not end until spring of 2023. So, of course, we do have some funds that will not be used that will drop back and be available on that line item as we move along. December 31st, the police academy, that contract ends. So once we give you the numbers for December, of course, that $28,000 going to come off of the encumbrance and be available back in the line item. So you'll see that number kind of move around a little bit throughout this fiscal year. The tax that was collected for the month of October $1,748,012, $582,670.64. That is the very last page. $582,670.64 is what came to the EDC. So we're just starting this year off right now, and I'm looking forward to just getting the totals and the numbers on fiscal year 2021 to see where we are. And if you have any questions, there's not very much that goes on in the month of October. Are there any questions?
What's this administration cost? Didn't we talk about that before? The city's charging us that $175,000
Yes, sir.
a year?
Yes, sir.
For what?
That is for processing our check request, our payroll, admitting all the, I think Crystal wants to.
We're going to talk more about it in the executive session.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Ms. Raymond, you had a question? It wasn't on top of your, it should have been on top of your envelope when you came in.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it?
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Have a nice evening, Board.
Community and Business Center report.
Good evening, Board. The most exciting thing I can talk about tonight is that the building is progressing very quickly now. The membrane roof is completely on. The only portion of the roof that isn't on is the metal roof on top of the atrium portion. The windows that have not been installed are already on site, so that won't be an issue, and drywall is currently being hung in phase 2 of the building. The interior framing is, I think, is all complete now. As of the time of the writing of my report, I put substantially complete, but it's all complete. Lamar is holding their classes. On the agenda tonight, you do have an amendment to some of the terms of that lease. However, they have agreed that they will start paying rent as of November 1 because they have access to all of their facilities, and they were able to obtain their health inspection certification from the city for those kitchens. So now that the kids are using the kitchens, they have access to their second floor classroom, they have agreed to start paying rent as of November 1st. And we'll talk about that on one of the agenda items, but that rent has gone up. EOC, they have ordered their furniture. You guys are going to talk about that in executive session tonight. Michael Savoy has completed the 3 pieces of artwork that we've commissioned from him. He's just waiting on a delivery date. We also have inquiries every day about the lab and the collective, and I had an agenda item on the agenda to approve those programs tonight, but I decided to pull it so that I can meet with some of our new partners in the area, like Ms. Dana at the SBDC and some other people, to have something a little more specific when I approach the board and the council with those programs. However, last week I did take a class about assisting small businesses after a disaster and how we partner with our local partners and make sure that they have what they need. One thing that I did learn is during the pandemic, there were certain things that the SBA offered to small businesses that we could have taken advantage of. So we don't want another pandemic, but if there's a disaster or something like that, we want to be sure that we're already on board, we're already certified to administer those programs. And so I got enrolled with FEMA this week. I got a SID number, I think it's called, and took that class with FEMA and the IEDC so that we'll be prepared for that. Then there's something next week about vacant storefronts. Rashard can tell you, I'm sure, in the malls he's in, there's a lot of vacant space. And we know that one thing that a lot of commercial office space has done is converted those into co-working spaces. And so what's the answer for our vacant storefronts in the community? Parkdale Mall has a really, really interesting initiative that I'm going to meet with their manager about, and possibly the Central Mall manager. You know, how can we assist them as a 4A corporation, you know, to make their facilities affordable but more approachable, you know, to people that, you know, are looking for a brick and mortar space. And so I'll take that class next week along with one about equity and inclusion, because what they're finding is that they thought, especially in states like Texas, where the governor has decided to not extend the pandemic unemployment benefits, that everybody was going to go back to work immediately, and that's not happening. And so we have to figure out what that answer is, and then as we assist the small businesses, how do they meet their goals of equity and inclusion without just taking whatever they can get. You know, they still want to be selective about who they choose to hire. I'm sure, you know, you can relate to that. And so how do they still meet their goals of equity and inclusion post-pandemic or towards the end of this pandemic as they hire their employees? And then the last class that I have next week, because I'm taking 3 this week, is going beyond data to win the site selection process. The staff and I have been talking for months about revamping our website, because our website is totally about site selection. However, there are some advances in the technology and the technique that economic developers are using, and so sometime in the future we're going to come to you guys and ask if we can include those initiatives on our website to be sure that we're doing everything that we can to attract, you know, people to the sites that we have available at our business parks and things like that. So economic development is constantly evolving. This entrepreneurship is a new thing, and every week they're saying something different, from CNN to Fox to the IEDC. There's some email going out about something else that we have to learn and we have to stay on top of to be able to continue to evolve with the current economy. So we're spending a lot of time preparing a lab doing that. But I'm very pleased with the process of the construction on the building. I did mention that we're having some issues with the kitchen contractor. He and I spoke today, so hopefully he can remediate my concerns within the next week. If not, I'll be talking to George, Crystal, and Frank about where we go from here. That's all I have.
Questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Interim CEO report.
Yes, I don't have a report per se, but I would like to say that it feels good to be back here with you guys. Last month, I was at IEDC and at a ICMA conference, and I also want to send I guess we call it a shout out. This, you know, our era call it shout outs. I want to thank Mr. Baptiste for, you know, all he did for me. He had me with him at every meeting, every phone call, every conversation, everything to prepare me for this seat. So I sincerely appreciate that. And I also like to thank my staff here. Everybody's been working diligently, and I like what I see here. So you guys, y'all in good hands. That's it.
Thank you, George. All right, on our consent agenda, we have one item. May I have a motion to approve our consent agenda? It's been moved and second to approve our consent agenda item. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, non-consent agenda. Agenda item number 1, to discuss with possible consideration the terms of a proposed lease between PAEDC and LSCPA for the Culinary Arts Program at 549 4th Street.
Okay, so the terms, you have a term sheet in your packet where you see that rent increased from about $10,933 a month to $11,149. And basically what happened was, after we got the lease that was approved by you guys and by City Council over to Lamar Port Arthur, they didn't realize that they were going to have to send it to their Board of Regents, or their legal department for the Board of Regents. And so once they did that, they had a few questions, and we didn't have the internet cost or the cost for the grease trap service at the time. And so we were just going to do an addendum to the lease, but since we have to go back and do it anyway, we're just going to add those prices into the lease. And so that's what changed. Everything else they were okay with. There's no substantial material changes to the lease other than adding the cost of the internet and the grease trap service.
Questions? May I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the terms and conditions for the proposed lease between PAEDC and LSCPA for the Culinary Arts Program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, to discuss for possible consideration approving a grease trap service contract for service at the Press Building.
Okay, I solicited 3 bids from Liquid Environmental Solutions, Wastewater Transport Service, and South Waste Solutions. I attached LES and Wastewater Transport, and also my emails with South Waste Solutions, just showing you guys that although I attempted to, wait on him to give a 3rd bid, he just didn't cooperate or show up. And I'm recommending that we go with Liquid Environmental Solutions. Number 1, Lamar's familiar with them, and so they can attest to the quality of their work. They were the lowest bid, but they were also the most complete bid. So if there are any surcharges or anything like that, they were very upfront about those, as opposed to Wastewater Transport.
Any questions? May I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the contract for the grease trap service for the Press Building. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3, to discuss for possible consideration approving the purchase of 5 small form computers for conference room and television displays in the Press Building from Dell Computers.
Yeah, so these are the computers that we need to make our displays be state-of-the-art. So if a tenant or someone that's utilizing our conference rooms can use Zoom or make a presentation or things like that. And in your packet, I gave you one, but I just kind of hand wrote, that amount times 5. But tonight I'm presenting you with the formal quote for 5 small form computers from Dell. And we did utilize the city's IT department to get that quote for us so that we are not in violation of any of the purchasing procedures. And I'd like to go ahead and order them just because of shipping delays throughout the industry, so that when DataVox is ready to have them for phase 2, that we're prepared.
All this is included? You get all this?
It's the, what you call it?
That's just the specs.
The specs. That's what's
Specs,
all
okay.
on the computers.
All on the computers, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
For their
It comes
price.
with all of that for that
For their
price.
prices.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
asking, that's all.
That actually means absolutely nothing,
It does mean something.
to be honest with you.
Windows 10 by itself.
They've been making it look
They charge for
good.
Windows 10, they charge for everything now.
My only thing, the only thing we could do as far as the warranty is 3 years.
That's all they would give us.
They wouldn't do 5.
They wouldn't do 5. No, sir, I asked.
We get 5 at the school. You can get 5 years. I'm just asking. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? This is a good price, though. Good system.
It is a good price.
Yeah.
And they're tiny, so they fit behind the display, so you won't see them. They don't take away from the aesthetic of the conference room.
Questions? May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the purchase of 5 small PCs for the press building. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 4, to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Eaglin Motor Lines. Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir. A gentleman came in one day. He was parking his trucks off of Westport off the road in 73, and the city told him he was in violation and he would have to move his trucks. So he came and asked, could he get some assistance with EDC? And the first thing I thought about, I know you two were here when we were leasing Highway 73 to Meathead Trucking. So I explained the same thing to this gentleman, and all this is basically a letter of intent saying that he would like to look into leasing that same property that we have in our Highway 73 business park to park his vehicles. He did not mention doing the same thing as far as the land. As of right now, as what we know is he's just wanting to park his trucks over there. So this is his letter of intent.
Any questions?
Reading, and the last paragraph, he's not sure how much the actual cost will be for land improvement.
Right. See, the thing was, again, when we had it the first time, there was a guy who wanted to stabilize the land, and so the board came up with a price in order to lease the land to this guy because they knew it would cost so much to do all the stabilizing, bringing the dirt in and all this stuff on that property. So this gentleman, he doesn't know what we're going to say if we come together and say, the land to be leased out. So that's what he's meaning about he doesn't know the price.
They had concrete roads in there right now, so that's where he was trying to
There's
park.
infrastructure to park his trucks, but he hasn't determined if he's going to do anything on the actual property, on the land, because he doesn't know what the board is going to say as far as leasing the land to him.
They basically just waiting on us to give them a price.
Right, and see, again, this is just a letter of intent saying, yes, we can move forward to find out what he wants to do.
Gotcha.
Other questions? All in favor? I need a motion.
I make a motion.
Second.
Been moved and second that we move forward this letter of intent from Eaglin Motor Lines. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, to discuss for possible consideration and infrastructure economic incentive with Midco Plaza. Mr. Davis.
Again, Mr. Munoz came back probably, it was before the pandemic, and discussed a project off of 9th Avenue, and he basically came back with his infrastructure bids. We got it verified by an engineer, and we're just asking if we can go forward with the prices we see here on Mr. Munoz. It's a strip center off of 9th Avenue and 41st Street, Jerry?
Yes.
And 41st Street.
So he's saying that the number would be this 108.
Correct. That would be what we could offer him as far as the portion of his infrastructure.
Okay,
Oh, and he is in the audience if you need any information about the project itself.
okay. The only issue I have is why he don't have a breakdown how much it's gonna cost, and there's no breakdown or itemized list of,
We do have it, we just don't put it in the packet, but we can get it to you.
okay.
So the total cost is the 272
Correct, the infrastructure that we can pay for
is the
is
108.
the top number, and we do up to 40%, so that's why we come up with the bottom number.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And again, if you have any questions, he is here if it's anything that you need from him.
I just feel comfortable having the breakdown of everything, how much everything costs before I can vote on something. That's
Well,
me.
hold on.
The breakdown of the infrastructure costs?
Can you make a copy, right? Just give us a second.
If that's going to be the case, you might as well get the same thing for the Gulfway shopping, so she can see the total breakdown of the infrastructure. move down to agenda item number 7. We'll come back to 5 and 6. Agenda item number 7, discuss for possible consideration an amendment to the economic incentive agreement with Clifford Distilling LLC. Mr. Davis. And Crystal. Okay. Borrow Rhonda's mic.
Good idea. Okay. Okay, Clifford Distilling, you may recall you all approved this one at your last meeting. We took it to council. They approved the contract as we presented it. As Mr. Clifford and I were reviewing his contract, he pointed out some confusion in the milestones. So I did see that there was some corrections that needed to be made as far as the time frame for him to complete his payroll requirements, as well as some of the numbers were off. So the total number at the end did not change. He still has to complete the amount of payroll that he promised that you all approved. It's just the timelines and the numbers within those timelines needed to be corrected. So he still has to meet the same amount that you all approved by the same time frame that you all approved. One other thing that we did change on it was his credit amount. So an incentive recipient can receive $1 credit for a certain amount that we come up with whenever we put together their incentive agreements. Now, we had 404, so for every $4.04 that he paid out in Port Arthur payroll, we would give him $1 credit towards his incentive. We did correct it to 4.03, so it was off by 1 cent, but it does make a little bit of a difference whenever you calculate that over 3 years. So we just wanted to make sure that was corrected as well. So Mr. Frank did prepare an amendment for you all, so we're just recommending and asking that you all approve that amendment.
Questions? May I have a motion?
I so move.
It's been moved by Ms. Raymond and seconded by Mr. LeBeau that we approve the amendment to the economic incentive agreement with Clifford Distilling. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, to discuss for popular consideration an amendment to the economic incentive agreement with Port Arthur Recycling.
Okay, on this one, Port Arthur Recycling is a metal recycling facility that was approved back in 2000, don't have it in front of me right now, 2018 or 19, and they have reached the term of their agreement. Now, he, I will say, has employed, if not 100%, 99% at times, Port Arthur residents. He reaches right underneath his mile marker for Port Arthur payroll. He did state that he was unable to meet his Port Arthur payroll to the term of his agreement due to certain different reasons, one of them being the tariffs that were, with the previous administration, there were tariffs placed on metal imports. So because of that, that slowed his business down some. The other reason was, of course, COVID and the storms that we had. So it slowed him down a little bit. I will say, if we take into consideration the amount that he's already paid out payroll this year, that he's 1 year past, he's about $35,000 off. So
Just needs an extension?
he needs an extension. I'm recommending 2 years. So if it's the pleasure of the board, but if you all would agree to it, we're recommending 2-year extension for him to meet his payroll requirements.
For the most part, though, he's been pretty much on top of everything, pretty much.
Yes.
But the
yes.
exception of what we all had to deal with, COVID and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No?
You have a motion, please?
So move.
I second.
Been moved by Mr. LeBeau and seconded by Mr. Harris that we amend the economic incentive agreement with Port Arthur Recycling and extend it for an additional 2 years. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9, to discuss for possible consideration terminating the lease agreement with Port Arthur Greater Minority Chamber of Commerce for Suite 321 at 501 Proctor Street.
Yes, on October the 7th, we received an email from one of the tenants basically stating the reasons and the issues that they had for wanting to leave. Hopefully you guys have read it, and my recommendation is to go ahead and let them out of the lease. We've spoken with our lawyer, and, you know, we've come up with, if someone, you know, happens to lease, that they'll prorate it or whatever. And as of right now, I think they said that we've had 3 people already coming to look at it. So it's not like it'll be a problem. We're going to have open space because we already have 3 individuals looking at this. So my recommendation is to go ahead and let them terminate their lease.
Questions? No questions? May I have a motion?
So move on this.
Second.
Been moved and second that we move forward with terminating the lease agreement between Port Arthur Greater Minority Chamber of Commerce for 501 Proctor Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, to discuss for possible consideration renewing the lease agreement with Nathan Rivers for office space at 501 Proctor Street.
On this one, Mr. Rivers already had all 3 spaces. We just want to catch them up so they can be renewed at the same time, which will be April of '23. And the additions that Crystal mentioned earlier about the CAM and the early termination, that's the only changes that we have. We just want to catch them so that Mr. Rivers won't have to come back next time and sign 2 leases. And we've already discussed this with him. He has no issue with it. So we just want to inform you guys to see if that's something you'd like to do as well.
Any questions about that?
How long is the lease?
He's actually already in the lease.
Oh, yeah.
We just want them to end at the same time, because right now they all set, because he originally had 1 office and now he has 3.
Oh,
so we
they
just
got
want to,
different leases.
correct. We
Gotcha.
just want to catch the second and the third one up to the first one, so that
Gotcha.
way, whenever it's time to renew, it's just 1 lease.
They renew all of them?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
Been moved in second that we approve the renewing of the lease agreement with Nathan Rivers for office space at 501 Proctor Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11, to discuss for possible consideration a workforce development pre-employment training agreement with Lamar Institute of Technology for the Police Academy training of police cadets. Ms. Lee.
Yes, as mentioned earlier, our Police Academy program, when we did this last year, mid-2020, they said that we were in great demand for police officers. So this is a program that we actually came up with. As mentioned before, we've had 4 to actually graduate the program, and we are asking that pretty much you guys go back with what we had before. And
You know, what was that number? How
it's
many
here.
we did?
It's pretty much, it was 9
9, okay.
9 individuals
Gotcha.
at $2,600
per student.
a person for the enrollment, and then $23,400 is our total.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've been fascinated with numbers over the last couple of weeks. Any other questions about agenda item number 11? May I have a motion, please?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the workforce development pre-employment training agreement with Lamar Institute of Technology, Police Academy training of police cadets. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, to discuss for possible consideration of Police Academy training program tuition assistance agreement. Ms. Lee.
So pretty much that was a number that was not to exceed, it was $1,400 per resident, not to exceed $12,600. And that particular cost was like the psych exam, their uniform, things like that, so a reimbursement type thing. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. And of course, that's 9 as well.
Before I ask, Any questions about that? Because the one thing we did with this one, we made sure that we took care of everything that they needed for the class. Because
Right.
there were some expenses they had to incur before getting into the program, so we wanted to make sure that we took care of that as well. So that's why you have 2 items here.
What are we doing regarding the students that enroll in this program? I understand they probably have some It's the exam. Are we doing anything to assist them and helping them to pass? Because they cannot get into the program until they pass the exam, right?
So pretty much Chief Durso and Assistant Chief Deputy, I don't know his name. Jeremy Easton. They actually work together, and so they recruit. So from their recruiting, that's how we determine who enters the program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just a go-between on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we just agreeing. They doing all that.
Yeah. Any other questions?
That's it.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
All right, that was a motion from Ms. Raymond. Can I get a second?
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the Police Academy Training Program Tuition Assistance Agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, while you're still there, agenda item number 13, to discuss for popular consideration allocating job training funds for 5 Port Arthur resident high school 2022 graduates to attend a 2-year training program at Lamar State College, Port Arthur. Ms. Lee.
So pretty much, of course, this is our scholarship program. We have awarded several thousands of dollars for kids to go and continue their education. And pretty much we're just asking the board to approve it for the next year at the cost of $67,500, which equals $13,500 per student, 5 students.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
They're pretty much the ones that start, they're finishing pretty much. We got a pretty good rate.
I thought I mentioned it at one of the meetings, but one of the young men just graduated this past semester, and he's actually employed at Total. So, and then we have another young lady who also graduated, and one that's about to graduate this semester that came from the first year. And then the other 2, of course, the new 5, they're enrolled.
Yeah, right.
And then the last set that we actually enrolled, I will say that 2 did not meet the requirement. They didn't flunk out, but they didn't meet the 2.5 GPA.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
Okay, how long have it always been 13.5 that we've been giving out to the students? For how long?
for the last, 3 years?
No, and that's the thing too. Before we even put in here, I told her
I called.
to call and check because prices, tuition may change. But
I did call.
They did tell her that it's still
Okay.
13.5.
They say pretty much every 2 years it may fluctuate, yeah.
And the same thing actually with the Police Academy for LIT, same thing. We verified that they didn't increase the cost or whatever, just to make sure.
Ones that don't, you said the 2 that flunked out or didn't finish, so do we just not responsible for paying them?
We're not responsible.
They're not enrolled, right?
They're not enrolled.
Okay, so we don't lose?
No, we don't lose.
Pretty much the way it works, if you don't mind me explaining.
Right
So
ahead.
pretty much after each semester, they're required to give me an official or unofficial transcript, and I go through and I actually fine-tooth comb to make sure that they meet that 2.5 GPA. If they don't meet that 2.5 GPA, we do not pay. So
How do you pick these?
we have a committee that we formed, and pretty much we go through and
You own it.
yeah, I think is he on the? Yeah, I know Miss Beverly is.
I'm just-
yeah.
So Ms. Beverly gonna keep a good eye on them.
But, yeah. Yeah.
I have a screenshot for you. Oh, I need a motion.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the job training funds for 5 Port Arthur residents, graduates, to attend a 2-year training program at Lamar State College, Port Arthur. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, stay right there. To discuss for possible, motion carried. to discuss for popular consideration the Youth Employment Program for 2022. This could be your last one
Yes.
tonight.
So as you all know, our goal is to get out there and work with the kids and put them to work. Pretty much, we're just asking for you to approve, of course, going back with the 20 students for our youth employment program, paying them $13 an hour. I will say I work with Mr. Anderson on this. A lot of our students come from the K program. They're really good students. They work really diligently throughout the summer, and I get really good, really good responses from the employers. And I will say that we have had a couple of employers to retain students. So it's a really, really good program.
Questions?
How many?
20.
That's the only question? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the Youth Employment Program for 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Renata.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 15. No, I'm going to go back and pick up agenda item number 6 and 7. No, 5 and 6. Agenda item number 5. Raymond.
On number 5, I put a star by all of the ones that the EDC can pay for, because we have to go through every bid to make sure it's infrastructure that we can pay for. So on the one for number 5, Joni passed out, did you staple it or is it just together? Okay, the staple packet. And what that is that's the itemized list that, not that one, not that one. That's for the next one, yes. That's the itemized bid sheet to let you know where the first number came from. And then, of course, like I explained to Mr. Harris, the second number is the 40% of that total of what we can pay for. And then I'll wait, because that's number 6, I'm sorry.
So your stars is the one we can pay for?
Yes, yes,
We can pay for permits?
yes.
Entertain questions? We have any?
No. It's going to be a strip mall, right. That's what I was saying, off of 41st Street and 9th Avenue.
I'm planning on driving there, but it's got lazy. That's
Well, you got tomorrow or the next. But honestly, that's a good thing to do, because actually, Mr. LeBeau did the exact same thing. He went by there, and we encourage y'all to do that all the time, because you want to see what you're voting on.
So, I do have a question. How many spaces, like,
You come to the mic, please.
So you can be recorded.
Yeah, there's going to be 6 spaces altogether. One of them is an existing building that's going to connect to the new part itself, which is all going to be combined together as one whole section from 31st to 42nd Street. The whole parking lot is going to connect all together. Matter of fact, there's part of the city, it's like 20 foot that belongs to the city that I got permit to pour concrete, so it's all one parking space. And I already started on it, that the existing building is already in business. Part of it, I'm waiting on a few things to open up inside. We got a temporary trailer outside right now, but it's already in process to start working, so I can start on the other building. As soon as this one gets started, so I can start on that other building. I don't want to have no empty spaces.
yeah, no, I definitely
Build something
agree.
and be empty,
Yeah, no, you building to put people in now.
Right.
Okay.
The house you have right now, do you use it for anything?
Yeah, and the corner,
Uh-huh.
that's the taqueria. They're fixing to open up in 2 weeks. I'm waiting on that.
That's for Mexican food?
Yeah.
Okay. And then all the concrete you poured, that way towards,
41st Street.
okay.
So it's all going to be one parking lot.
And towards Groves is going to be, that's where your strip mall's going to be?
Yeah.
And the parking in the front?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Seen it.
It's
I
going to be
never seen it.
facing to 9th Avenue.
I know exactly where it is now.
So that curb's going to be tore out, and then you'll just be able to drive right up to the, or is
To the-
it, yeah, they have a curb now, don't
Yeah,
they?
there's 2 driveways, right? It's going to have 3 driveways.
Okay.
I got the existing one, the new one that's already built when I poured that concrete, and there's one on 41st Street. So there's 3 enters,
Okay.
Got you.
yes.
Sound good to me.
Anything else? Thank you.
Good luck with everything, man.
All right, we got one motion. I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We improve the incentive agreement with Midco Plaza. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6, to discuss with possible consideration economic incentive with Gulfway Shopping Center.
This is another one that came to us in the past. Location is off of Gulfway and Stadium Road. I believe it's like the Family Dollar or maybe Dollar General. I don't know which one it is.
Across from Old Market Basket.
Across from Omar. Right. And this, all he wants to do is fix his parking lot. However, he does know what we, ask of him, because he has, I believe he said about 6 spaces open in that strip mall as well. So he does know he still has to get the COs, in order to get his full incentive.
Any questions?
Parking fixed over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Just ask him.
All right.
I second.
Been moved and seconded. We improve the economic incentive agreement for Gulfway. This is shopping center. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 15, to discuss for possible consideration approving the recommendation of the Legal Counsel Committee for selection of PA EDC Legal Counsel. Mr. Davis.
Okay, we had a committee that came together, consisted of myself, Ms. Mueller, Mr. LeBeau, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Smith, and the results are in front of you. And so that's I'm putting forward their recommendation on who they selected.
Questions?
So which one are they selecting? Is this the name?
The
with
first
the-
one that has the
The first one
89.
at 89?
Yes, ma'am.
The one with the highest number. Yes.
Hope so. Yeah, say 89 at least.
I so move.
I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we move forward with the recommendation from the Legal Counsel Committee for selection of PAEDC Legal Counsel with Germer Attorney at Law. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time,
Mr. Chair, this is Frank Garza. Just for clarification,
yes.
will you want our office to review that legal agreement to make sure it's in full compliance and make a recommendation to Mr. Davis, to yourself, to make sure it's a good agreement for the PADC to move forward?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. This time, a closed meeting or executive session will be held pursuant to the following sections of the Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. Section 551071, Section 551072, Section 55, and that's it, Section 55 1.087. We'll adjourn now for executive session. Re-adjourn our regular board meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Darrell Anderson,
Here.
Beverly Raymond, Christopher Smith, Rashad Harris,
Here.
Caprina Frank, Sherry LeBeau, Rhonda Connor. You have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you so very much. Coming out of executive session, we have no items that we need to take any action on. I just want to thank everyone for coming out and doing their part. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Thank you, Crystal, for all of you do, all of your staff. Y'all did a wonderful job on tonight. Y'all gave us some very good information that we can use and not have to bother y'all throughout the month. Thank you so very much. So now we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn our meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See y'all on next month.